Hello, welcome to the weekly shir, the Zera Shimshon, and this is the new year. Shana Tova, Gamar Chasim Tova to everybody. And I'm going to share something short today because I know everybody's very busy making preparations for the holidays and Shabbos. And this is important though, and there's a very nice story at the end. Okay, it's actually the 5th day of Tishrei Tafshin Pei Gimel, the Bria Soilam. Okay, and it says here, it says in Tehillim, Tika b'chodeshav b'kesim b'chagenu. Blow the shofar at the moon's renewal, at the time appointed for our festive day. We know the Kesed, the Yom Chagenu, the Gemara says, the day when it's hidden. Okay, so it says, we know that the Torah obligation to blow shofar applies only to the first day of Tishrei. That is, the first day of Rosh Hashanah. That being the case, why did the pasuk state, Tiku b'chodesh shofar, blow the shofar at the moon's renewal, implying that one must blow the shofar throughout the entire month? The Midrash in Vayikra Rabbah quotes the pasuk, on the 7th month, on the first of the month, there shall be a remembrance with shofar blasts, and then quotes the pasuk from Tehillim 89:16. Praised is the nation that knows the shofar's cry. This pasuk, however, prompts a question: don't the nations of the world know how to blow a horn? Okay, after all, they have numerous horns and instruments of all kinds. Don't they also know how the horns cry? It turns out that the various types of horns that they know how to sound, it's not the point. Hashem is saying, praised is the nation that knows the shofar's cry, because Klal Yisrael knows how to persuade their Creator to rise from the throne of justice, a mishpat, and to sit on the throne of mercy, rachamim. They know how to persuade Hashem to shift from expressing His attribute of judgment to expressing mercy through the shofar's cry. And when are we able to accomplish this? The Midrash says in the 7th month. But why mention the 7th month, when according to the words of the Midrash, everything is dependent on the shofar blast and not on the month? Unless we recognize what the Midrash points out, the word Shavi'i, or 7th, is hinting that it is a month satiated with many mitzvahs. The word Shvi and Savei, satiated, share the same root word. Shofar is that in that month. Yom Kippur is in it. Lulav and Arava and everything are in it. Sukkah. And we know that Hashem's way is to give goodness to Klal Yisrael even when they do not yet perform the mitzvahs, on account of the good that they will do in the future. The Midrash therefore concludes with the words, when? In the 7th month? Means with this line, the Midrash is hinting to the idea that even if Klal Yisrael did not deserve for the shofar to serve as their defense attorney, they will still be helped by Hashem. Why? Because all of the other mitzvahs that they are about to do in the 7th month, in the month of Tishrei, and because of all those future mitzvahs, Hashem takes mercy on them and already on Rosh Hashanah. That is why the pasuk says, blow the shofar at the moon's renewal. Because of the Yom Chagenu, literally, blow the shofar throughout the month. It is the merit of the shofar that protects Bnei Yisrael on Rosh Hashanah, together with all the future mitzvahs that they will end up fulfilling throughout the upcoming month. That's in our Parshat in Ois Ches. Now the beautiful story here about a man. I'll tell the first part of the story. Rabbi David Nyman lives in Cleveland, Ohio, and they told the following story. I guess this is not a fake name. So anybody who knows David Nyman, ask him. A woman came to Cleveland from Eretz Yisrael for treatments. She was very sick, probably the Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the best in the United States, and had trouble breathing. She was very sick and had trouble breathing to the point where the doctors explained to her that the only option for her survival was a lung transplant. There were a number of problems with their suggestion, beginning with the fact that a lung transplant is a complicated operation, and more, it wasn't at all simple to find lungs that would adapt to her body. But there was no choice. and they added her to the waiting list for a pair of lungs from all across the United States. It goes without saying that such a procedure comes with an incredible amount of stress, and a person waiting for a pair of lungs, or any body part for that matter, needs patience, since it could take a long, long time, and time in which the patient basically lives in the hospital while terribly ill. And around that time, I heard about the segula of the Zera Shimshon for the first time, and I told the woman's husband, who had accompanied her from Yerushalayim, that it would be a good idea for the two of us to make a seder together in Zera Shimshon as a schus for refuah shlema for his wife. He was gratified by the suggestion, and off I went to purchase the sefer. There was one problem. The sefer wasn't being offered for sale in Cleveland. Under Torah, I turned to Rabbi Chaim Kanievski from Williamsburg and inquired as to how I could obtain the sefer. So I could sell you a copy, he offered me, but I don't want to buy a copy from you directly. So what do you want? I want you to ship the Svarim to the Svarim store here in Cleveland so that I can buy the sefer from my local Svarim store. I put Rabbi Pashkas in touch with the owner of the local Judaica store, who ordered 3 sets of Zera Shimshon to sell. A short time later, the woman's husband, my Zera Shimshon Chavrusa, called me up with the wonderful news that a pair of lungs had suddenly become available, and that his wife was being prepped for the proper procedure right then. How did the lungs happen to become available so fast? She was number 4 on their list. Well, 2 people got into a violent fight. The end of the story was that one killed the other. It so happened that the one who was killed had signed a form that he wanted to donate his organs after his death. But there weren't many people ahead of her. Weren't there other people ahead of her on the receiving leave? Yes, my wife was 4th in line, but the person who was 1st in line didn't answer the phone when the hospital called. What about the 2nd person? He wasn't in the area. And the 3rd? The 3rd person wasn't healthy enough for the procedure, so they turned to us. Needless to say, I was absolutely astounded by the turn of events. The next day, I got a call from the Svarim stores telling me that sets of Zera Shimshon arrived. They hadn't even started learning it yet. And I could come by to pick mine up. When exactly did the sefer get to the store? I asked the store owner. Yesterday, it came by special delivery. I did a little math and figured out that the hospital called about the lung transplant just about the time that the sets of Zera Shimshon arrived in the city for us to learn as a schus for refuah shlema for the woman from Eretz Yisrael. It goes without saying that her husband and I have been learning Zera Shimshon together every day from the day of the Svarim arrived in Cleveland. Baruch Hashem, we saw his wife's condition improving by the day to the point where she was able to walk on her own a few weeks later. Anyway, there's a continuous little addendum, but it's too much already. And I'm going to say a good Shabbos and a good night. And Mirz Hashem, everybody have a Gemar Chasima Taiva and an easy fast on Yom Kippur. And Mirz Hashem, next week we'll do Zera Shimshon again before Sukkot. Have a wonderful week. Kol Tov.